Hello there again. We're the Billboard Road Crew, and we would like to thank you for coming on this road trip with us today. Today's pit stop, 2023 worst list, worst hits list. Today's drivers are me, Roadrunner, Sundrop, and Fanstar.
Hi, what's going on?
Hi. This was a pretty interesting year in terms of, I'd say, the best and the worst.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. This
so
was a year. A lot of shit happened.
Yep. I honestly, I could start us off with the first honorable mention here, but I didn't write that much because I don't really like these worst lists are just painful to write about. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'll try to make these as distinct as
I don't
possible.
blame you. I don't blame you.
Um, yeah. So I guess my first dishonorable mention uh, would go to "Search and Rescue" by Drake.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
yes. Honestly, I don't even dislike this song. I think the beat is actually pretty atmospheric and nice. But Drake is just so pathetic on this. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
he acts like such a child, and the audio and vocals sound horrible to the point where it becomes unlistenable, and he's being all whiny, and it's not looking good for Drake on this.
Mhm. Yeah.
And Also, Drake, note it's not like he has a lyric like, I know I'm a pit bull, but dale, mommy. The butt makes no sense. That lyric as a whole makes no sense. If you're a pit bull, you should be saying dale, you know?
Yeah. It's
I always
just
found that lyric funny.
yeah. It's just oh my god. I'm gonna have more to say about search and rescue as we go further, but yeah, it's just an
Yeah,
embarrassment.
yeah.
I will also
Hmm.
have more to say later about that song.
Okay. Why don't you get us started with your first dishonorable mention, Fanstar?
Yeah, my first honorable mention here is Peaches and Eggplants by Young Nudie
Ooh,
Mm.
ooh.
featuring 21 Savage.
All right.
Oh, oh.
I like 21 Savage in general, well and good, but I've never found him particularly engaging. Like it's like this kind of like song, like these like sex chants, or is to say. It also doesn't help that like most of this, or most like the Young Nudie's parts, the other guy here, is just him doing onomatopoeia over
Yeah.
this very
Yeah. Yeah.
simplistic beat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
at least with slut you out, it's a bit more like funny. At least like laugh at it. This
mhm.
just almost more boring. Just the bigger sin for me.
Yeah. I will be honest. This song was close to making my best list this year.
Oh really?
Peaches and Eggplants.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just find it really fun, and um I don't know. I know that kind of ad lib in the chorus was kind of made for TikTok, but I just find the whole thing super fun, and yeah, it's a easy track to listen to.
And I'm gonna have more thoughts on peaches and eggplants later.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally see why people dislike it.
All right. So
Why don't you get started on your first honorable mention,
you
Sandra?
got it. All right. Mine is also a Drake song, but it's "Spin 'Bout You" with Drake and 21 Savage. Yeah, the song sounds fine with 21 Savage's verse, even if the beat is quite obnoxious. What really brings this song down for me is Drake's part. There's just so many WTF moments in his lyrics that make me laugh. That filler line where he says "fuck me" 4 times, saying his sex tapes are going platinum, the weird In Vogue shout out, and him clumsily referencing the overturning of Roe v. Wade. It's when Drake is at his most vulnerable that he's
Okay.
unfortunately at his most laughable. And like I said, this won't be the last time we discuss him.
Oh, okay. I mean, to hear my thoughts on that, it's gonna be on another certain list.
Oh God.
yes, Spin
Yeah.
About You did not make either of my lists, but it
Okay.
is a song that I quite liked from her loss. It was definitely better than Rich Flex for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So Fanstar, why don't you get
Time
us started on
to
your second?
continue the Drake train. Meltdown. Travis Scott featuring Drake.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
This song thinks it's like going like Sicko Mode 2 Electric Boogaloo, but it just isn't. Uh,
Yeah.
it like starts well with this Drake's first verse, but it just kind of falls apart later on. I don't like the hook here, and just generally across Utopia, Travis's rapping is a big letdown.
Mm.
Here
Yeah.
included.
Yeah, I honestly didn't have too many strong thoughts on Meltdown. It was kind of like a nothing burger for me. So
Yeah. I Meltdown is nowhere near as good as Sicko Mode. I do think the production on that track is pretty good. It's definitely like both artists at their default setting. But yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of Utopia, I did not like I Know either. So that didn't make this
Oh,
list,
really?
but yeah. Um,
If if I know, I think I know was like a few spots away from making the list this year. It would have definitely made mine.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, why don't you guys start with your second dishonorable mention, Sundrop?
Okay, here we go. Time to put my life on the line. My second dishonorable mention is "Vampire" by Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been pretty harsh
All
towards
right.
I've been pretty harsh towards the song throughout the year, and after revisiting it a few times, I think I've lightened up to it. Granted, I'm still not fully on board. Olivia is reaching for rhymes that flow smoothly with each other, and some of the production sounds excessive. This is a new sound she's experimenting with, so maybe if she keeps at it, she can make it sound less amateur. It's good I didn't put it on the list proper, or else the stands would crucify me like a real vampire, you know?
yeah. I'll have more to say on Vampire in another certain list.
Okay.
I will also have more to say in another list.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. For my second dishonorable mention, I have "Nonsense" by Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
To be fair, I don't it was hard for me making my worst list because I don't even dislike this song. I just don't care for the whole meta-ness of it. Like she's trying to make the Seinfeld of like songs, of pop songs. But yeah, it just when she does all that like whole meta stuff, it takes me out of the song a bit. And yeah, I mean, I don't even dislike it that much. It just, I guess, not for me.
I actually found myself returning to it quite a bit because like I like how the whole charm of the song is like she's just freestyling off the top of her head, you know, like this song catchier than chicken poxy. You know, she's just like having fun of the studio with her producers. You know, it's a charming song in my book. I swear this is revenge for putting Vampire in my dishonorable mentions.
I mean, I guess my thought about it is that it has the second funniest Christmas remix this year for a song that was a hit on pop radio.
Wait.
Wait.
What was the first
Fancy
thing?
Like Christmas.
Oh yeah, that one.
I actually don't even think this made the year end, but I guess we'll keep it as
Yeah.
this honorable mention.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yes.
Spurs pickings.
Forgot.
So should I do my dishonorable mention?
3, yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Cool. All right, last one. Okay,
yeah.
my last one is "I'm Good" (parentheses blue), David Guetta and BB Rexa. This is not exactly a song worthy of hate, much like "Nonsense," because it does have plenty of energy and joy flowing through it. If kids are having fun with "I'm Good," I don't wish to take that away from them. Although I do have to knock some points for its generic party lyrics and the sample that does so much heavy lifting for the song's overall appeal. Honestly, I wish David Guetta didn't have to rely on so many samples to see his songs become hits nowadays. It might just speak to how much the club boom has dried up in recent years, but, you know, still.
Yeah. You said "I'm Good Blue," right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have more thoughts on that later.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you were gonna say on another list.
No, no,
No.
no. Um, yeah. Uh, I guess yeah. I can go to my last dishonorable mention. I will. I had "Next Thing You Know" by Jordan Davis.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's not. I just again not even a song I dislike that much. I just find him one of the least charismatic performers in country right now. And although it's a sweet story, he just does about like growing up and all that. He just does not sell it for me, making this whole thing come off as fake. But like, yeah, I don't even dislike it that much.
I mean, while I couldn't quite make my other list due to just how stiff the competition was this year, it was a country song that I really enjoyed, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah, like from the moment I heard it when it first made Bubbling Under from just streaming, like last year. Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
interesting. Like, it has an interesting lyric about how like fast life can go.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nice story song. And definitely, I think the best single I've heard from Jordan Davis.
Okay. Well, yeah, I honestly found it to be pretty charming. Where he like sees his life going at a rapid pace, and he sees how much it flourishes. One minute you're getting married to a girl, next thing you know you're having grandkids. It's like, it's charming enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, my third dishonorable mention is also "I'm Good Blue" by David Guetta and Baby
Oh,
Rexha.
there you go.
Mm.
There you go.
This is probably the best sounding have anywhere on my worst list. Or dishonorable mentions. Thanks to the sample
Okay.
flip, but it's also by far the laziest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's funny, like seeing like how David Guetta just repeated this exact formula again this year with "Baby Don't Hurt Me." The "Baby Don't Hurt Me" is even worse than this. It just didn't make the year end. Otherwise, I would put that top 10 here.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, big.
Sorry, go.
Sorry, you go, fans.
Yeah, also, Baby Rexha being the vocalist here kind of fits, given how oftentimes she really likes personality as a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I will, yeah, because I messed up with the Sabrina Carpenter thing, I'll just say my last dishonorable mention that made the year end is Made You Look by Megan Trainor.
Okay.
I don't have much to say on it, but yeah, just to add that because I messed up with that one. Um,
That's totally fine.
yeah, now I guess we could go get onto our list proper, and
Let's go for it.
I can start us off with that. And I don't know if this might be a hot take. I saw it on a best list this year. But yeah, my number 10 is going to be Eyes Closed by Ed Sheeran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was definitely tough putting this song on this list, but the more the year went on, the more it just soured on me. Because Subtract is such a good album. Like, it might be one of my favorites from him. And this song is just a definite weak link in the entire thing, and it's not even Ed's fault too. They they took what, like, it feels like there was a lot of label interference. Like, they took what was supposed to be this very sentimental track about Ed's friend passing away and him having to deal with that, and they put it through a processor a million times to make it like the most inoffensive radio filler like thing possible. And if Ed was only allowed to see his vision for the song, I feel like it could have turned out way better.
I mean, I would have appreciated if it went for like more like a visiting hours type vibe, but I don't know. It's Eyes Closed has been a grower for me this year. While initially the choices with like production and stuff seemed weird, it does kind of fit. The more I think about it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eyes Closed was a yeah, I keep saying charming, but honestly, I do think Eyes Closed was a very heartfelt song. Even if the production does lean a little bit too into like pop cliches, I think Ed's heart was like definitely there.
Yeah. Which I definitely agree with. But yeah, Fanstar, why don't you
All
go
right, my
into the
number
first
10. It's the first country song here, but certainly not the last. "Dancing in the Country" by Tyler Hubbard.
Mm,
All right.
Oh wow. Nice to see Tyler
Yeah.
again.
I gotta say, when it comes to the Florida Georgia Line duo, Brian Kelly makes the better solo music.
Really?
really?
He had a sing like it's a shame his like latest singles like flopped on radio because "See You Next Summer," because it was a really good, almost like neo traditional song, which was kind of a shock seeing that from him. Meanwhile, Tyler Hubbard's making the most formulaic radio country imaginable. This time, leaning a bit more towards like bro country. It doesn't. The lyrics aren't as bad as 5'9", but they're even more inessential. The only highlight is like 5 seconds of guitar and like the bridge, but then the rest of the bridge is really bad.
Yeah, I mean, this was all. It was an all right song to me. It was definitely better than 5'9" in my opinion. It had like some groove to it, and it had like
Yeah.
this momentum that that song didn't have. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I actually echo what Roadrunner says about dancing in the country.
Yeah.
So is it my turn now?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. My number 10 is "What It Is" Block Boy by Doechii featuring Kodak Black.
Okay.
Okay.
My list is going to start off with an entry that I honestly didn't want to include. Doechii is actually a pretty talented singer, giving some sultry and fiery vocals. I also thought the beat was fine to listen to, even if it's a little too pokey and minimalistic for my taste. If you want to know the main reason for why this song made the list, you can probably guess.
Yes.
Kodak Black's verse here is just mediocre. He doesn't match the energy, he's not on tempo, his enunciation is atrocious like always, and the way he tries to play the part of a gangster who's so endeared by his new girl just creeps me out. The line that irks me the most is when he mentions the struggles of being black in America. I guess Drake's random allusion to modern day politics was much weirder, but something about Kodak doing it just sets off flames in my head. I'm also just upset that we keep letting this guy stink up the charts as if his skill set is that impressive. This song could have worked with any other rapper, or maybe even just a
Yeah.
solo project for Doechii. But if anything, What It Is serves as an example of how one crappy rapper can bring a whole movement.
It is worth noting that the solo version arguably should have been the one credited by Billboard. It was the one that had like 80% of the streaming.
And 8%
And
the
8% the
radio.
radio.
And it was the version that was played for the most part on pop radio, since Kodak is still persona non grata there. I think it was the version sent to hip hop radio though, which is why it got credited.
Damn.
Yeah.
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 Stop giving this man a career.
I think what disappointed me the most about this is Doechii came into the industry as like she was setting herself up as such a like progressive voice in hip hop, and because she's in TDE, and I guess like not
Okay.
even Kendrick was immune to all that because he ended up having Kodak on the album too. But like, I don't know. I was very disappointed when she announced the song and he was on it, and yeah, that was a very confusing move. But the solo version definitely, I think, would have made my honorable mentions
If it was
if
credited.
it was credited.
I ranked it as the solo version, though it didn't quite get
Okay.
close enough to make my best list or HMs. Wasn't too far off though. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, why don't we move on to our number 9s?
All right,
Yeah.
I will
Fantastic.
start us off with "Made You Look" by Megan Trainor.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is sure is a Megan Trainor song. The funny thing is, this album's like most relevant thing in pop nowadays is that it helped bring Teddy Swims more to light.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
now
Oh, yeah.
he now has a big hit
Yes.
with "Lose Control."
I've actually listened to Teddy Swims. Some things what is it called? I'm looking it up. Sorry. Some Things I'll Never Know. That is a great song. I love that song.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
his album this year is quite interesting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, back to Trainer. Has many of the various like trainerisms when it comes to with the
Oh god.
production and all that's here. Kind of like this like throwback 50s doo-wop. Which a lot of these just I guess I'm more gentrified than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, I guess now that I can say my piece since it almost made my dishonorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
My piece. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's definitely a bit better than All About That Bass, but not by much. It's just the regular Megan Trainor schlock she usually
it's
gets.
kind of middling in her hits discography. Say.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. Yeah, my piece still has yet to come.
Okay. So why don't you get into your number nine, Sundrop?
All right, here we go. Number 9 for me was Under the Influence by Chris Brown. Again, we have another song with a well-constructed beat. The melodies are very seductive, which is clearly the intended tone. Some of the descending pianos and strings are nice creative choices. The producer for the song is Aluya Oladapu Ebula, aka Kiddo, and he honestly did some great work here. I credit him for carrying the song. I most certainly do not credit the actual singer, Chris Brown, who landed the song here. The premise is that Chris is extremely high on Robitussin and is begging to meet up with a girl to have some intense sex. For starters, I'm pretty sure drinking lean mixed with medicine isn't the healthiest way to prepare for a night of intercourse. But what also just really turns me off is the attitude Chris Brown presents here, promising the woman a relaxing night where she can take him to a new paradise. Again, like Kodak Black, when you take into account the artist's history and general attitude towards women, you get a really, really bad vibe. When I hear him sing lines like "make you cry like a baby," I just feel concerned for the girl. It also doesn't help that his voice is so badly autotuned, so I'm not exactly feeling the soul in my body. He's another artist our culture has moved past the point of needing, and I would prefer if Breezy could just breeze away.
Yeah. Um, it was definitely close to making my dishonorable mentions. There's nothing like particularly like it's just there, you know. He's
Mm.
not really that charismatic on it, and it's all like like sludgy. I would describe the song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that we I guess we can thank TikTok for bringing that
It is
Yeah.
something I'll talk about
Thank
later.
you,
in.
TikTok.
Okay.
Thank you, TikTok.
Yeah.
Um.
I guess now I could go to my number nine, which is
Mhm.
Everything I Love by Morgan Wallen. Um,
Oh God.
yeah.
Here we
And
go. This is
I,
we're starting it off.
yes, I will say this is the only Morgan Wallen song on this list.
Okay.
And it's definitely my least favorite out of all his hits this year, just because it does nothing to help him stand out in any way. Like literally listening to this causes me to fall asleep before the 1 minute mark, and I guess the lyrics are fine, but it like if you read through it, it's like they put like a Morgan Wallen lyric generator into into it. And this is what came out. Like it's definitely generic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I everything I love
Man.
was actually one of the better Wallen singles this year, in my opinion.
Mm.
Uh, I do have a Wallen song on my list that I'll talk about a bit later.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly have no thoughts on everything I love because it's just there were so many Morgan Wallen songs on the year-end list that I just couldn't distinguish them. Like, I don't even know how it goes. I can't even give a single line from that song.
Yeah. I don't even remember much of it either.
Yeah, I overall
Yeah.
liked One Thing at a Time, the album. Though it's so long, it's not really something you can really listen to as an album. American Heartbreak
Mm-hmm.
kind of has a
Hmm.
similar issue. Not helped by the fact that like the last few songs on that one almost feel like filler. Though like the first 27 aren't. One thing at a time is like half filler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I guess you can start us off with your number 8, Sundrop.
Okay. All right. Well, here it goes. Time for for a little tradition.
Oh no.
Number 8 is Barbie World with Aqua, by Nicki
Okay.
Minaj and Ice Spice. Yeah. It's that special time of the year where I pick apart a Nicki Minaj song once more. But honestly, I wouldn't really blame her for this song being on the list. Her verse is playful and ferocious, and she's able to deliver a slick rhyme here and there. Easily the major problem with the song is the sample being mixed over the drill beat. When you listen to the original song by Aqua, it's definitely cheesy and campy, but it has real energy. It's able to have fun, and you acknowledge why it became a staple in 90s music. I feel like this is an odd way to try and update the classic jam when it already works on its own. It really does feel like she only recorded this song because of her fan base being called the Barbs, and they wanted a cute way to tie her into the film. The filmmakers were obligated, so I don't hold any malice towards them, but the end result was still lacking. That seems innocent enough, but that doesn't take away from this song being lackluster. Admittedly, I do prefer Ice Spice's part, bringing some real sass to the tune. She has the right amount of glam to give Barbie World some flair. Outside of that, it doesn't have much going for it, but don't feel down because this will not be our last time visiting Barbie Land in either lists.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. This song is decent to me. Mostly because the way the sample is integrated into the beat, I find really creative, and it works really well. But yeah, it's the performances of both of Nicki and Ice Spice that take it from really reaching that good tier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent in my
Barbie
opinion.
World's decent
Okay.
as well. It's probably the weakest of the hits from that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I'd agree there.
I will talk about one song from that soundtrack on a different list.
Nice.
All right.
Can't wait.
I guess now for my number 8. Again, I don't know if this is a hot take,
Oh god.
but
Oh no.
maybe it's Area Codes by Callie.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I really wish I liked this more because Callie seems really talented, but the lack of anything tangible in the production really hinders what could have been like a really good rap track. I appreciate the callback to Ludacris and Nate Dogg's original Area Codes, but she could have done so much more with the source material. Instead, she's just like whisper rapping the entire time, and the production literally sounds just like a finger snap every every 10 seconds. It doesn't feel like a finished song at all.
Area Codes was in my DHMs on first draft. It ended up just missing, but yeah, it's one I've never gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Now Fanstar, you can
get to your number.
get to your number 8.
Yeah, my number 8 is another song with Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice,
Alright.
but it's not Barbie
Oh,
World.
really?
It's Princess Diana remix.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Look at that. Our,
And it has nothing to do with Nicki here.
Yeah.
Her verse is good, and Ice Spice isn't bad exactly, but I do not like the production one bit.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It just ooh. And like I wish they did at least work on I get why like the original Princess Diana like sounds the way it does, given like how early it was in her career. I guess his career was made, but I just wish they at least did more to change it for the remix. It's just
Right.
ain't it for me.
Right. Well, look at that. Our number 8 slot has like a little theme going on here.
Oh yeah. I actually had Prince Diana in the gray tier. That's definitely my favorite of the. Even though it didn't quite make my best list, it was my favorite of the Nicki and Ice collabs. And I don't know. I love the production, but I can get how someone doesn't like it. I guess now I can start us off with the number 7.
Go for it.
And for this, I have Bailey Zimmerman's Religiously.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's, I would say, definitely the most annoying, non-problematic track on this list.
Okay.
The chorus is super irritating, and he just repeats it over and over and over again, and
Mm-hmm.
it like it makes me go crazy. And the notion of someone loving you religiously, like how he says it, is just so weird. Like they can love you a normal amount, Bailey. It's
Right.
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I understand that.
I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I think it's more about him, or about like. I think more like directly like him like going to church or whatever, or like the like and like the his faith, than about his relationship itself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And me personally, I still really like Bailey Zimmerman. I remember raving about
Yeah,
him a
same.
lot in last year. But yeah, this song just didn't do anything special for me. Like the production can be a little sweeping, but I think I'm in the same boat as Roadrunner. Like there's something about the sentiment, this person is no longer here to worship me with every fiber of their body, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Yeah,
Well,
so
that's not how I read the lyrics, but I will say this. I am going to be talking about this song later
okay.
oh really?
Okay.
In
Alright.
okay.
on this
okay.
list.
Okay. All right, I'm looking forward to it. So Fanstar, it's your turn, right?
Yeah. My number 7 is another Chris Brown song.
Let's go.
Superhero. Heroes and Villains.
Oh.
Metro Boomin and Future featuring Chris Brown.
Oh, here we go.
I will say it right now.
Yeah.
This would not be here if not for Chris Brown being on it. If the music video version was a single version, this would be like in my good tier. But that lasts like 30 seconds, just kills the song completely.
Last 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, Future's verse or like 2 verses here are actually very good, and I like Metro Boomin's beat here. But yeah, that Chris Brown just. It's not just that he's there. It's also him like, talking about like the
There's
haters
that
and
one.
like who's really the villain. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You
like,
are.
who
are.
the fuck are you to talk? You know.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's more that without Chris Brown, the song would have been in like great tier for me. I like you said, like Future's verses are good. The beat is really good. His inclusion at the end felt so unnecessary, especially like you said, he's like, who's really the villain? It's like, bro, it's you.
It's like
It's
so
like so
laughable.
laughable.
Speaking of the necessary thing, they switched the beat at the if like 30 seconds at the end,
Oh, yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
to like the music video version sounds far more contiguous
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so
because
it's
it just
so
lops
weird.
it off
Mm-hmm.
and it like ends normally. Like, it feels like something that was added like later on, like after they had already like
Yeah.
made the original,
Yeah.
and the like Chris Brown wanted a feature.
Right. Yeah. Me personally, yeah, the song was pretty decent in my opinion, although Chris Brown does like bring it down a lot, like, and you guys are absolutely right about Chris Brown being the villain in this case. It's like, you damn sure ain't a hero.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess with that I can reveal my number 7.
Mm.
All right, here we go. Time for Richmond, North of Richmond, Oliver Anthony music.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I avoided listening to this song in full because I was aware of how complicated the discourse was and I just wanted to stay out of it. But eventually I had to dive in and see what this viral country hit was about. I think Oliver Anthony's biggest issue here is that he doesn't seem to have a specific topic to focus on. Like, the guy is trying to make a statement about obesity, sex trafficking, government surveillance, male suicide, and it's meant to be under the guise of empathizing with the working class. as many critics have stated, that compassion melts away after he shames people for eating fudge rounds. He sings like a man who's
Yeah.
just pissed off at the world, but doesn't know who to direct that anger at, except for some random people in Virginia, apparently. Also, it's confusing why he recorded the audio version outdoors. Maybe that was to give the tune a rural aesthetic, but it just feels kind of silly. If anything, Richmond North of Richmond will most likely become a footnote in the pop culture of 2023. If your song is played at the GOP presidential debate, you know your message failed to reach the right people, because nobody wants to hear what Vivek Ramaswamy says about the latest country trends. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, like, so I don't find this track particularly good at all. Like, Oliver Anthony's just a really bad writer. And I mean, I do think that he has like a good voice, and I didn't particularly hate the sound of it, but you know, I do think there was maybe like some stuff placed on the song that didn't necessarily like what's the word? Like basically that he came out with a few videos talking about how much he hated that it was played at the GOP thing and everything, and he basically said he articulated more what he meant on Richmond North of Richmond, and it sounded fine. Like he was basically saying how like the government keeps people in this loop, and he didn't mean anything about obesity, which just it means he's just like a horrible writer, because if you wanted that to be the message, it didn't really come through
Right.
in the song itself. Like in the song, it literally sounds like you're making fun of obese people.
Right, exactly.
If you wanted your message to be like the government, like he said in those videos, like he actually endorses people needing to be on welfare when they have to or when they can. But yeah, it didn't come through at all in the writing. And
Right.
He's
And honestly,
he's
an
definitely an
case.
interesting case.
I
Right.
think it's
And, like,
worth. I think it's worth noting that this song was the first one he did with a proper microphone. Before he used his
Yeah.
phone, like that's
Oh,
the level
God.
of like, and nothing. I don't mean this at all negative way. Level of like amateurish when it comes to like this stuff. Was obviously not remotely expecting this to make that much money, especially.
Yeah, to
Well,
public,
I think like he didn't upload it on his own YouTube channel. He originally just uploaded his like YouTube video to Radio West Virginia, which does a lot of these like acoustic like numbers like in the woods, like for people like in the Appalachia region, and then it just happened to go viral and blow
Yeah.
up in a crazy way. This was not a song that made my list.
Okay. And honestly,
Like,
I don't even think
I like Oliver Anthony's voice here actually quite a lot. And of course, like the writing is suspect. It's just it's like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
almost was kind of emblematic of like a lot of like the misguided populism out there.
Right. And honestly, I don't even think
Definitely.
Oliver Anthony is a bad dude, but like maybe he should have just used up his 15 minutes of fame on something more well thought out, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I can.
I guess.
I think it's
now we can,
maybe a bit early to pass judgment on
Yeah.
career. Like I think he's only like just started like touring and stuff.
And-
He hasn't
and-
signed
okay.
yet. We'll see if he does.
Okay.
the week he blew up, he ended up charting a second song. I think it was called "Ain't Got a Dollar." I actually did end up liking that one.
He's
like a
he's
long
charted
way
a couple
then.
other songs on Hot Country Songs. Ain't Got a Dollar I
Yeah.
think made the year end for that.
Oh, for Hot Country, wow. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I guess now we can get into our number 6, right?
Yeah, let's do 6.
Yeah, and
Fanstar
my number
starts.
6. I didn't want to put Peso Pluma here, but
Oh no.
yeah, La Bebe by YNG Lucas featuring
Oh,
Peso
really?
Pluma.
Wow.
Of course, it's his worst song isn't any of his like songs like in his own style, like Queridos Tampados. Instead, it's him jumping on a reggaeton number from a relative no name, like on the remix from another name. And yeah, like okay, Peso Pluma kind of struggles on reggaeton to begin with. This wasn't a good song. The original song wasn't even good, so this remix just even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't like either of their voices here at all.
Okay.
And the production's very lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame this is like his in a lot of places this outside the U.S. and Mexico. This is actually his biggest hit, bigger than AI by Sola.
Uh,
And
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
second biggest in the U.S. Which is kind of a shame.
yeah, I don't particularly hate this track, but yeah, it's not interesting at all. Um, it's just funny that he decided, like, this was right after he started popping off. He decided to hop on this song, and it was a questionable move, but hey, I guess it worked for his long term career aspects.
Right.
So
Now he's like
Yeah.
one of the biggest stars in Latin music.
Yeah.
yeah,
Le Bebe. I'm blanking on how it goes, but I remember enjoying it quite a bit. Although if you're not into it, that's fair.
yeah. Why don't you get to your number 6?
Me?
Sandra?
You got it. All right, here we go. Number 6, "Search and Rescue" by Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, Drake couldn't resist upping the silliness from "Spin 'Bout You" and gave us this. There's too many moments to pick from, calling his love interest Mommy, which sounds very unromantic. The cheesy line, "I give you the world, but there's other planets too." The way the production is mixed and composed like a Dateline program covering somebody's murder. The insert of audio from Kim Kardashian, which I guess is meant to be a dig at Kanye West. Not that I don't appreciate
Yeah.
someone dunking on that monster, but it breaks up the flow pretty badly. If there's any line from this song that single-handedly gave Search and Rescue a spot on my worst list, it was the American Express line. I can't decide which part is more ridiculous. How it's a weak play on the phrase "express my love," or how he holds the word "express" to create some annoying melody. Either way, it's my pick for the worst 2 seconds of music this year. As silly as "Spin 'Bout You" could be, at least there was a kick to it. Drake sounded more excited there. Search and Rescue just sounds like he needs to be out like a light. Wink. Worst of all, it just keeps going, filling up time in my day, allowing such a mindless tune to linger, evoking no emotion. It just exists, and I simply have no use for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess yeah, we said our piece about that. That I do agree that when he says American Express, it's some of the worst seconds of pop this year. But yeah, I guess now going on to my number 6. This is definitely I think will be the hottest take, and from here on out, it's pretty normal stuff.
oh god, oh no.
But I have Chemical by Post Malone.
No! Why?
Yes.
Why, Roadrunner? Why would you do this to me?
This one reminds me a lot of Eyes Closed in the sense that the album the single is from is literally one of my favorite albums of the year, maybe like top 3. It just feels like again to make the album he wanted to make this year with so many good songs, like even all the other tracks after it, Morning, Overdrive, Enough Is Enough, all those are great songs. But it feels like again he had to make a lot of label there's a lot of label interference, and it just sounds like this song was made as like we need the radio single to begin the album cycle. The way they pitched up his voice, his vocals to make it sound higher also is a really bad touch because he already has a good singing voice. And the whole time it feels like he's adding buzzwords to the lyrics to make it sound more relatable, in a sense. Like when he mentions like Seven Nation Army and all that. I can respect the subject matter and the lyrics at play, but everything else surrounding it just is so disappointing to me, especially with what came after it in terms of post Post Malone's output.
Oh,
To be
man.
honest, I have not really liked or cared too much about almost anything I've heard from Austin,
Mm,
Mm,
that's fair.
that's fair.
including this song.
Uh,
Most of them I've found either just mid or just like mid decent tier
Oh
at
god.
highest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, man, that one really hurt. Oh, that one took a lot out of me. Oh man, what did I do to deserve this?
I don't know.
Okay, well, as you can probably guess, I'm gonna have a lot to say
Yeah,
about
you
this song
probably-
in another video.
Okay.
So is that it for 6? Are we going to 5 now?
Yeah, I guess I'm starting for 5.
Sure.
Yeah. Right? Or no, you're starting Sundrop.
Oh,
sorry.
me? Okay. I want to preface this by saying this is probably going to be one of my longer entries on the list because I do have a bit to say about it, and just know that if there's anything you disagree with, just let me know. I just have a lot of thoughts I want to put out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My number 5 is "Wait in the Truck" by Hardy and Lainey Wilson.
No.
Yes.
Alright.
So here we have another country song focusing on serious topics, in this case domestic violence, and I have issues. As if the murky production was enough to frustrate me, one major issue I have with the song is how the man decides to intervene in this conflict and take matters into his own hands instead of just calling the police. It's like that one Family Guy episode where Quagmire finds his sister being abused, so he takes her boyfriend into the woods and rams him with his car. When I see men write these kind of stories, I don't get the vibe they're actually thinking about the victims. It feels like the main purpose is to live out a fantasy where they get to rescue a poor defenseless woman and look like badass heroes. They're essentially objectifying the abused woman and making the situation about the truck driver. While I understand this is just fiction and that the songwriters intended to make an extreme depiction to make the listener emotionally invested, there's always the risk that you convince your audience that this is what domestic violence cases are mostly like, and that such cases should only be taken seriously when they escalate to that point. If you want a good top 40 hit about abuse, look no further than Face Down by Red Jump Apparatus, which doesn't show the singer confront the abuser and congratulate himself over it, but simply describe how much of a jerk he is and swear that one day the woman will rise up and take back her power, that is. It's a song that provides hope for victims. Wait in the Truck is just self-aggrandizing, and I could go on about why the song fails with the subject matter, but I don't want to overstay my welcome with the song. Okay. So that I oh man, I was like just letting loose with that one.
It's a song that I somewhat like, though it's shrunk on me since
Okay.
I first heard it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same here.
I really like Lainey's chorus.
Yeah, Lainey
I
Wilson.
wish she had a verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would have
Definitely.
Definitely.
made it so much better.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go in a bit like sidetrack and just a digression. Like on the subject of, like story songs in country. One of my favorite like non-hit ones was actually from Michael Ray.
Okay.
Holy Water.
Okay.
Like that was kind of a flop on radio, like from I think like, last year ish, but it's surprisingly really good despite a very muddy or a very mixed production.
Mhm.
It's got like it's amazing lyrics.
Okay.
I think that one's worth
Yeah.
checking
Yeah.
out.
Okay. Yeah.
But interesting coming from him because like the song before that from him that actually was a hit. Whiskey and Rain, it kind of blows.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with some of your points. I agree with Fanstar Shrunk on Me because of those aspects, but I do kind of like how it's like a story track, and I do really like Lainey's inclusion, in all of it. I'm pretty sure. Truck Bed might be on its way to making the 2024 year end. If that makes the year end next year, that's definitely going on
Okay.
the worst list. I don't think I've liked I don't think I've liked anything else I've heard
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Hardy at all.
And The Mockingbird and the Crow is an album that I actually liked it on first listen, and then it hard shrunk on me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few songs that I
Yeah.
like on it still, but um, outside
You
of
can.
You can
Sold Out and Jack, the rock side is garbage,
Mm.
utter garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You can.
You can tell like he's kind of a phony in the
Right.
scene.
Y-
I forgot who said something. Maybe it was Spectrum Pulse or something, but you can tell he's not really
Mhm.
Into that.
into
Right,
that
right.
scene.
In the
like that.
countryside, like even beyond him framing it as like the way he does on the album, it's just very derivative
Mhm.
and like not particularly interesting for the most part. Red featuring Morgan Wallen is one of the worst tracks on that side.
Mhm. Yes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for the responses. I know I got a little passionate with that one, but yeah, thank you guys.
No, yeah. Totally understandable. I guess now I can start off
Your
with
number 5?
uh oh yeah, now my number 5. It's kind of a boring one, but I just have What My World Spins Around by
Okay.
Jordan Davis. Yeah. The same reasons before. I just find him one of the worst performers in country right now. And this has like so much like uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like not but that like plasticky type of bombast to it. Like there's synthetic, yes. It feels like it's trying to like go for this sound that it sounds a bit overproduced, and yeah, this whole track is like a
Okay.
turn off
For me.
for me.
I mean, it's very much national country. It. I was kind of surprised it made the year end to begin with. It was kind of counting years.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one that's solidly in my list. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this I didn't really have any strong feelings about this one. Jordan Davis doesn't really stand out to me personally when it comes to country music. He seems fine, I don't have any strong feelings about him, but he's just there.
Mm-hmm.
And then-
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess.
And then
I guess
My number 5
Now.
now.
is
Yeah.
Religiously by Bailey Zimmerman.
There
Mm.
you go.
Yeah, this hurts, especially because I really liked his first 2 hits and his Leave the Light On EP.
Same.
Yeah, I like Leave Light On too.
But Religiously, the album is just, and of course, the song itself is just such a disappointment.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Zimmerman, well, I kind of like Zimmerman's voice on the first 2 songs. Here it just sounds bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the production and the chorus especially. It's just really not good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I understand that.
At least Where It Ends is getting pushed now, but that should have been pushed instead of this
Mm-hmm.
like a year ago.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Where It Ends is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly.
Well, I think since we've already talked about Religiously, we can move on to number 4, right?
Yeah, which I think I might be starting. Yeah. So I mean, this one also is a pretty. I don't have much to say on it. It's "Handle on You" by Parker McCollum.
Handle on You by Parker. What number was that on the year-end list?
It made it right, unless I'm.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
cool. Maybe this
Yeah,
is
somewhere
yeah,
around there.
Maybe that just. Yeah, I think my memory's just
Um.
blinking.
Yeah, I don't really. Like, this one was kind of hard to say why I didn't like it, because I read through the lyrics and I kind of don't like how smug the track comes off, but yeah, I don't have much to say other than the sound also just doesn't do
There
anything.
was so
for
much
me.
country I can't distinguish it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you a single fucking thing about this song. I'm sorry.
I'm a bit more acquainted with Parker McCollum since, despite the fact he's like been pretty ingratiated in Nashville for like a bit now, he's still absolutely beloved on independent Texas country stations. And routinely ends up placing like top 10 on their year ends. But yeah, "Handling You" was a song that I liked. I didn't quite see what Grady saw in it. I thought it was just good.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything. I forgot about this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You can. Yeah, we can go to
Alright, let's
Fanstar
do
number
it.
4.
My number 4 is "Under the Influence" by Chris Brown.
Yay!
Yeah.
The
Okay.
deep cut from his 32-song album Indigo from 2018 that some fucking one decided to drag out and make it a TikTok trend.
Jesus Christ. And this is supposed to be a deep cut?
Yeah, this was a deep cut that got pulled out of the ether
Yeah.
for TikTok.
Why? Oh God.
I somewhat get why it became a thing because it's quite a pernicious earworm, but it just does not sound good, and especially with Chris Brown doing that, like sounding utterly inebriated here.
Oh man.
Like it just does not work.
Yeah.
Slightest.
Yeah, it's just. Oh God. Please stop giving him hits. Please.
Let's hope
TikTok doesn't find anything else from
And
it.
one of the worst things about it was, it seemed like he was going to be on the way out because he released his own album in 2022, before this came a hit, and it flopped.
And did,
Yeah,
Like,
he also released one this year, and it flopped.
Yeah, but unfortunately he had an old song
Yeah.
come big.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess we said our piece on that already. So you can get to your
All right.
number 4 now.
My number 4 was "Peaches and Eggplants" by Young Nutty featuring 21 Savage. This song was my introduction to Atlanta-based Young Nutty, and oh boy, was it a sour one.
Young Nudie.
It'd be one thing if it was just another rap song talking about your riches and women you get to sleep with. Then I would gladly leave it alone. But I just cannot stand "Peaches and Eggplants" because of the song's signature sound. Buh, 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 buh. He makes this sound consistently throughout the whole 3.5 minutes. Young Nutty even goes the extra mile and makes it the chorus. It's just making noise. One obnoxious, unnecessary noise. The one positive quality is 21 Savage's verse, which gives me some room to breathe. But even 21 is not able to make up for how annoying this song is. To list off other annoying qualities, I think the title is too ridiculous also. Naming it "Peaches and Eggplants" sounds too much like you're trying to connect with listeners in the digital era. Not to mention, the beat is just too ominous to be sexy. Every time I play it, I find myself needing to look over my shoulder in case anyone's creeping behind me. This is definitely my least favorite rap hit of the year, and stinks just as much if you combine peaches and eggplants in a real recipe.
Young Nudie should leave the onomatopoeia hooks to Nordic.
Yeah. I will say, Young Nudie and 21 Savage had another collab go viral on TikTok last year from like 10 years ago or so, maybe like 5 years ago, somewhere around there. It was called EA, and it even made Bubbling Under. It's like 10 times better than Peaches and Eggplants. I wish that was the one that really took off.
That
with
song
duo.
was my introduction to Young Nudie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it rising up the Spotify charts.
But yeah, I guess now we could get to the number 3, and Fanstar, you can start us off.
Yeah, other than "Search and Rescue" by Drake.
Yeah.
Drake just continuing with his just
Ooh.
unreal
Okay.
schedule, like releasing like, just so much music. Um, and there's so many tracks
Yeah,
that
this
would
is like
normally be on the
right
cutting room,
now.
like be left on the cutting room floor, that end up being pushed out. I, the fun thing is, for all the dogs, I actually quite
Mm-hmm.
liked. Um,
Same.
it
Same.
was it might have been his best album since or project since if you're reading this, it's too late by technicality, but not by a ton. There's a massive difference between those two records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thankfully was a Lucy, and it is
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
not this just peaked Drake Autopilot, and just not
Mm-hmm.
giving it down, and also featuring him with cornball rap
Mm-hmm.
that make Eminem blush. And by Eminem, I mean music be murdered by Eminem. So
Yeah,
you so
I
you
see, I
Yeah.
know
see what
it's
you're saying
rough.
there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Um.
yeah. So I think we pretty much dug into Search and Rescue quite enough.
mhm,
Yeah, all three of
I
us.
guess. Yeah, I guess going into my number three, I have PRC by Peso Pluma and Nathaniel Cano.
Oh wow, another
Cano.
more Peso Pluma.
Yeah. Um, Out of all the regional Mexican music that made the year end, this by far sounds the worst and most amateur, to the point where it's just also really hard to re-listen to because it all sounds like it was like put in like that series like worst beat ever made or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's some really good regional Mexican this year.
Mm-hmm.
By Peso Pluma, by Group, but this just sounds like this definitely came off as one of the laziest and one of the most formulaic of all of them.
Here,
Mm-hmm.
C I actually somewhat liked. It wasn't.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, there's nowhere near my best list, but it and AMG both were good tier for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Fair.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, Peso Pluma. I actually like when I went through Peso Pluma's hits, for the year-end listening. I remember being very impressed by a lot of his work. I don't think I could find a single song that I didn't vibe with from him. I might have to take another listen to see, what you're talking about, but yeah, I don't think I really have anything negative to say about Peso Pluma, at least not as of yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My number three was "Made You Look" by Megan Trainor.
Okay.
Yeah, this ended up being one of the biggest surprises of the year, but that doesn't make it a welcoming surprise. Like so many other reviewers, I find Megan Trainor's overly confident attitude extremely unbearable. Lizzo has written these kind of songs before, but she's always able to embrace her self-assurance with some flair and style. I would argue that the doo-wop sound is really what stunts Megan here, not the least because this should have been a genre that she evolved past by now. Even in the retro sense, this sound feels out of step with the times. Maybe in a previous year I could have tolerated Megan Trainor's howdy attitude even if I wasn't liking it per se, but 2015 was years ago and Made You Look is where I reach my limits. I hate having to include it on this list since it was written because of Megan struggling with body image after giving birth to her first child, but I just can't escape how sour it makes me feel. In a year where the world was just filled with so much gloom, we could have used more upbeat songs to brighten our moods, but Megan just wasn't able to provide that for us.
Um. Yeah. I guess we all kind of said our piece on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess now go to our number two.
Mhm.
And you could start us off with that, Sunshine.
Okay, you got it. My number two is Thinking About Me by Morgan Wallen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really hoped that Morgan Wallen could maintain the same level of quality his music once had before his controversy in early 2021, but I think I realized there's no turning back. The murky atmosphere, unnecessary trappy, and annoying high-pitched guitar melody already turned me off. But the song takes it a step further and shows Morgan Wallen to be a petty ex-boyfriend wishing for his girlfriend to never forget him as she moves on to a new and presumably better man. We've We're meant to feel sorry for Morgan because she deceived him and went somewhere different than she said. Ooh. But I only assume that because she's trying to get the hell away from this maniac. I just picture Morgan following this girl everywhere, stalking her and snarling as she finds more happiness with her partner. He says he wants her to think about him when she's driving, drinking at the bar, sleeping at night. Like, Jesus Christ, you would think he's the abuser and wait in the truck. Last Night was a fine song about staying attached even after you let your grievances air out. Thinking About Me is just possessive and vindictive, and it upsets me how this was a hit from the biggest artist of the year overall, resembling just how apocalyptic the year was for pop music. Easily Morgan Wallen's worst hit to date.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't find it too bad. I, I I kind of agree with what I read something by the Mode Reviews like a few days ago. And
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it was enough to make my worst, but he said something like, "Thinking About Me is essentially an uglier male version of Olivia Rodrigo's Deja Vu with the worst instrumental," and
Mm-hmm.
that's and that's exactly how I think about it. Like, it's just
I think that's kind of fair.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't enough to make my worst list because admittedly, I do kind of like the country trap thing he has going on there.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, lyrically, it's not the best.
Okay.
I don't. There's nothing. It's kind of uncharitable to live in. I'll say
Yeah,
I'll
you
have my
know.
piece on Think About Me.
Okay. Okay.
um,
Okay.
yeah, I guess now
Sorry.
for
Sorry.
my number two, um, I have uh, David Guetta and BB Rex's "I'm Good."
Oh God.
Um, Yeah, this is just the most soulless corporate mush to make the year end. It's lazy in every way and makes me a bit annoyed it got as big as it did, especially since EDM as a genre isn't doing so hot in the U.S. right now. Um, it's it definitely there's so much more from that genre that could be doing better, but yeah, it's like the lyrics, the instrumental sounds so cheap. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely. I was tired of this song.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I already had enough to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chris.
So fan start.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
number
So fan
two
start. You want to do?
is Think About Me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. There you go.
Yeah, uh, she was one that I liked at first, but it's oh, has a trunk on me. It's fallen off a cliff. Yeah, the lyrical state's like just terrible. It almost sounds like something Mitchell Tenpenny would write,
Mm-hmm.
and he would somehow think he's the good guy in the story.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm like genuinely creeped out by like how Morgan Wallen.
I mean, I'm pretty
portrays
sure
himself.
Wallen did not write this. He doesn't write most of his songs.
In fact, let me look that up right now.
Like
but
he
you
might have a
keep talking.
co-credit, but there's multiple writers, 100%.
Okay.
Like most of his songs have multiple writers.
Mm-hmm. You're right. He didn't. He has no songwriting credits on it.
Yeah. Of course, he still like. I mean, we'll get to like a song after this that has like similar like writing thing, but yeah, like he did still sing them. You know.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, like there's yet another like trap country thing like to appeal to pop radio.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It it's funny how country's biggest star is flying in the exact opposite direction of like the zeitgeist in country
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, that is.
But and part of that's just the fragmentation.
Mm-hmm.
Like with streaming is allowing for like in a country just exploding in popularity is like allowed for multiple scenes to be big at once. Like yeah, there's even like talk of like a pro country revival, at least partially
Right.
boosted by Wallen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think like the boom in country music is largely due to like them finally figuring out how to market through social media, which is something that other genres have already been able to master.
Well, and country radio itself is actually, in some ways, even more incongruous with um, country streaming. It's like been in a while. Largely because a lot of the streaming is now going to alt country and indie country acts that would help to get a lick of radio. And well, also there's Zach Bryan, who's the second biggest, kind of the second biggest name now in country, but
Yeah.
he can't get a country radio hit to save his life, despite being
Right.
signed to a
Yeah,
label.
it is funny how the two biggest stars in country make two completely different sounds in terms of
Right.
like
Well,
subgenres.
even like the third biggest, like Combs, he's been shifting in a almost neo traditional, not quite neo traditional, but he's definitely going way more organic, and, like including more like fiddle and
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
steel and that stuff. Like
Right.
for true like neo traditional country, you can go to like Cody Johnson of Texas. He's a pretty big name now. So
Okay.
like after guys hit Till You Can't, 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So
That's,
I think we pretty much said everything about Thinking About Me. So you want to do our number one?
yeah, I mean, we usually have a tradition here at Road Crew where we all say it at once, but at least mine is like too serious where I can't really have fun with that.
Yeah,
I think,
so-
I
I
think we
think
all
the
have the
same
same
here.
one.
Yeah,
We
we
have
all
the
the same
same-
one. Okay, so
Alright.
I think all our number ones. Can I just say it?
Go for it. Do it.
It's we all have tried that in a small town by Jason Aldean.
We're gonna beat this motherfucker's ass.
Yes. I'll just get my review out of the way because I I wrote I almost don't want to give any attention to this clown. It's obviously a racist griff. So the only thing I'll say in the words of a very wise coyote named Night Browser, Jason Aldean's nuts.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Fanstar, what do you have to say?
And this was, well, let's start with like an overall view. 2023 has been kind of crazy year for country. This was the second of 4 straight number 1 songs in a row that were country songs. Started with Last Night, then it was this, then it was Richmond North of Richmond, then it was I Remember Everything by Zach Bryan and Casey Musgraves. Yeah, this first came on my radar in May when it debuted on Hot Country Songs at number 35. It exited the next week, and it remained out of Hot Country Songs until its big moment in August. Though it was slowly climbing up country radio the whole time. Yeah, it was with the release of the music video that the song just exploded. Which, like,
Yeah.
sadly.
the music video was a pretty intentional move to big controversy, and it worked beyond their wildest imaginations. Like, they knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. Not only doing it for the courthouse, but also like interspersing clips of Black Lives Matter protests as he's singing on the courthouse steps about like it's fucking lynching at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It. And of course, like him having his biggest and worst hit at the very twilight days of his career, after we thought he was done.
Right.
Like his last hit before this was
He-
back in 2021. If I Didn't Love You. Since then, he's been just steadily declining.
Right. Yeah, it's just. All right, so I guess I'll read my passage. Like, Can I please have a country song that doesn't force me to talk about hot button issues? Just once. That's all I ask. The nastiness of this song is obvious. Jason exaggerating the actual nature of BLM protests, threatening to beat or kill anyone who dares to, quote, disrespect his country, which is primarily aimed at black folks, if we're being honest. Making the production sound melodramatic in a pathetic attempt to give it weight and emotion, and producing the song years after the protests were at their peak. Like, that was like 3 years ago. Critics more well articulated than me have and will break down why this song is a travesty on not just country but also American culture as a whole, so I don't expect to say anything unique about Try That in a Small Town. One thing I can say is that I'm burnt out. Jason Aldean has existed in country music for so many years, and even before this stinker of a number one, I've already been aware of the insane bigotry that runs within him and his wife. Between Jason wearing blackface on Halloween and his wife Brittany selling t-shirts to pander to transphobes, that couple is just all sorts of rotten. Honestly, I'm tired of being burnt out. I don't want to see country music being used as a vehicle for weirdos to spout their insane, poorly educated views. Even as a black person who didn't grow up near the South, I've seen how beautiful the genre can be, and it deserves so much better than this shithead.
Definitely agreed. And very powerful stuff. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been known that Jason Aldean is very horrible person.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely deserves this number one worst hit spot.
100%.
So, why don't you take it away with the outro? Fanstar, you want to say something?
Honestly, for me, is there any competition for it not to be the worst number one hit of all time on the Hot 100? I know that's a
think so.
big category of
You can make a
songs
case
with
for
some
that.
real stinkers there.
You can make a case for that.
There was a number one hit that was also really weird, like in the 60s or something. about, like,
Ballad of the Green Berets by
Yeah.
Sergeant Bray Sadler.
Mm-hmm.
But that one isn't. That one isn't even half as bad, I think, in my opinion. Though it's like number 2 or number 3 for worst number one hit on Billboard.
Yeah, I do remember that song. I remember Sean and Liz doing their worst of 1966 list, and yeah, I edited for that, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay,
So I'll play us out. So, our dear viewers, this is where you get off. Hopefully, you will take a trip with us again soon. But before we let you go, we would like to ask you to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed the ride. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next trip.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.